Hello everyone and welcome again to my channel. So today we're going to be going ahead and continuing on. I should probably scroll up so we can see what we're doing. We're going to be continuing with the Dark Tides of Bilgewater stuff on D&D Beyond, and we're going to be making Gangplank. So everything's set the same way it was for the Twisted Fate one. If you haven't seen it, top right over here, it'll be the I button right there. Cool. Let's move on. So we're gonna go ahead and pick human again. You can pick either one in this case. I don't know. There's not a lot of feats that really fit well with Gangplank. But you can always pick variant human. Also, as I was informed by my friend, Aquin does exist, which is what I thought, but it's not here. There's no Aquin here. So, I pick Elvish. Ability scores, the only two that matter. Con, Dex for Gangplank. Skills, we can pick any skill. I'm definitely going to want to go ahead and pick Survival. For reasons we'll get into later. And then for feat, again, there aren't a lot of feats, but you can always just pick Variant Human and then pick Lucky and start with Lucky at level 1. So we're going to go ahead and need to pick Fighter for this. We're going to once again max out our level. Let's choose some skill proficiencies. We're going to go ahead and pick Intimidation and Perception because those are both really good. As well as, Gangplank's a pretty intimidating guy. I don't know, on his universe page, he says a very intimidating quote, something along the lines of, I've been, slitting throats since you were pissing your britches, you don't want to fight me or something. Plus, you don't really want to stand toe-to-toe with someone called the Reaver King, And Perception's OP, so Perception. So for fighting style, we're going to go ahead and go with Defense, because we're going to wear armor, and none of the rest of these help our specific subclass very much. So our martial archetype, speaking of, is going to be the Renegade. So this doesn't do anything super important right now, but what it does give us, not Scoundrel's Wit, we're going to pick Deception and Persuasion, again, because, he definitely cheated his way to the top, so that's where Deception's coming from. Persuasion, because he did rule Bilgewater. You have to be somewhat persuasive, I'm sure, for that. But Gunfighter form is what our martial archetype gives us. So we're going to want to be a Pistolier. So what it does is it gives us a gun that we can shoot within 30 feet. And then it's a ranged attack roll that we're proficient with, and then it deals 1d6 plus dex. So because it's a ranged attack roll, that also uses our dex. So anytime we get extra attack, we get more shots. 2 shots, 3 shots, and 4 shots. So Gangplank go pew 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 pew, right? Weapon of choice. So we get this is part of the gunfighter thing, but we can upgrade our firearm. So it's important. I'm gonna go over our firearm upgrades, but it matters. What order in particular you take. The major upgrades the minor upgrades sort of, but not really. But the major upgrades for sure. So at level 3, we get a minor upgrade and a major upgrade. So the major upgrade you're going to want to pick for level 3 is Barrage. Because this does flat damage that doesn't scale. So that's a lot of damage at 3rd level. 3d10 plus your dex modifier. In a 15-foot cone, assuming they fail the dex save, or half as much if they do pass the dex save. And then that refreshes on a short rest. So that's pretty good for early levels. For the minor upgrades, we're going to want to pick the Blade and Black Powder, because that will give us a sword that we can use. So when we attack and we don't use Barrage, what we can do is we can go Pew Stab, right? We pew them, and then you can use your bonus action to strike at melee range. So Gangplank has a gun and a sword. This guy's going to have a gun and a sword. You go Pew Stab. It does 1d6 plus dex. So then at level 5, none of these minor upgrades are very synergistic with Blade and Black Powder, nor do they really speak to Gangplank very well, but I'm going to go ahead and select Crosshairs. So what this does is if you don't end up in melee range, so you won't be able to use your blade and black powder, then you can go ahead and reduce your speed to 0, and then you get advantage using your pistol. Good. So then your level 10 major upgrade, you're going to want to pick Trial by Fire, because this one, it just, as a bonus action, you can charge your weapons until the start of your next turn. Whenever you make a successful attack, you can deal fire damage equal to half your fighter level rounded up, so this one scales with more levels. You can charge your weapons this way equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of once, and regain all uses after a short or long rest. But because it costs a bonus action, we're probably gonna have to decide between using this. This synergizes well with Crosshairs, but it does not synergize well with this. So keep in mind when you want to use that versus not. So I'm actually gonna skip my ASIs this time. I learned from that last video. I'm gonna do that after I put my scores in. So the next thing you get is Cunning Shot. So at 7th level, all damage dealt by your firearm, including the upgrades, ignores resistances and immunities. So if they have resistance to fire damage and you have Trial by Fire, that is a gun upgrade, so it goes through it. So right gun for the job. At 15th level, you can change your firearm upgrades. So if for some reason, one of these upgrades isn't working well for you, then you can go ahead and change it out when you finish a long rest. At 18th level, we get Light 'em Up, so we can go ahead and throw down explosives. So this is like Gangplank Barrel, and it does 12d6 force damage. So this is actually a pretty simple class. It is a fighter, so you would have to play a human fighter if you want to play this. But that's the most common class race combination anyways, so it's not really going to matter. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to head and go through our standard array again. So we're going to max out Dex, then we're going to max out Con, we're going to have Charisma 3rd for Trial by Fire, and then the rest of this doesn't really make a difference, but I'm going to do Wisdom, Strength, and Intelligence in that order. For no other reason than to differentiate it a little bit, but whatever. So let's go through our ASIs. So this is going to be structured the same way as the last video. Instead of an ASI, you can pick from our honorable feats list. There aren't a lot of synergistic feats in my opinion, but I will go ahead and include some anyways that I think would be fine. So unlike the Twisted Fate one where I was maxing out the Dex first, I'm going to actually do Split on this. Or sorry. Yeah. We're going to split level these so that we, every 2 ASIs, we're going to start getting more HP. So Con and Dex, and then we're just going to go ahead and split these all the way down. Once we stop being able to do Dex, then we'll do the double Con. And then after that, we'll go ahead and put the rest of the ones that we need into Charisma and Wisdom. So let's go ahead and Con. Yeah, so we can't do Dex anymore. And we actually can't do a second Con either. So we'll go ahead and go into Charisma. Ability score improvement. We're going to go Charisma and Wisdom. Actually, let's go double Charisma. And then for this last one, let's do Charisma and Charisma. Wisdom will be fine. You're proficient in it, so... or in Perception, that's why you would need Wisdom. So it's not going to matter too much. So you get a +4 times to use your Trial by Fire. So the background you want to go on is not on here. So surprise, surprise, it's the Sailor background. So what the Sailor background does is it gives you proficiencies with... Oh, it gives you proficiency with Perception. I actually completely forgot about that. So we're actually going to change this, and then we're going to make it... so you get proficiency with Athletics for being a Sailor. So we're going to go ahead and go with Athletics. Or not Athletics, sorry, Acrobatics. Because you get... I'm just going to throw Sailor up on the screen so you can see what you get, because I'm bad with words. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave this. I'm just gonna pick, I don't know, I'll pick Noble for now, just to have it here. Skill proficiencies, yeah, I don't know. But you're gonna want to pick Sailor. Just remember that. So starting equipment, we're definitely gonna want some sort of heavier armor. I'm gonna pick 2 martial weapons. I'm gonna pick 2 swords, a scimitar, and another scimitar, because why not? So you're definitely gonna want Explorer's Pack, and then for this it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna pick 2 hand axes, because why not? You get all this stuff for being a noble, but again, you're gonna get what you do get for being a sailor, not for being a noble. All right, and then that goes ahead and generates our character sheet, which I will again leave in the description below. Your skills are not super high because fighters don't have expertise like rogues do, but even without expertise, you still have some pretty good rolls to make, especially in the damage category. You're going to be doing a lot more damage with this build than you are going to be with Twisted Fate. You're also tankier, if that matters to you. So then, because we're not going to multi-class into spell casting, I don't think there's a good multi-class for Gangplank. So we're not going to go into multi-classing or spells. So we're just going to head over today to the feats board. So, like I said earlier, there aren't a lot of exceptionally synergistic feats, in my opinion. Okay, so because there aren't a lot of especially synergistic feats, the only ones that I'd actually recommend you take are Alert, Mobile, and Resilient in either Dex or Con. And then that's actually about it for this build. It's actually pretty simple to build and play because there's not a lot of good multi-classing options, feats, or spellcasting to go over. So if you enjoyed, please leave a like in the description. And if you want to see more, please go ahead and subscribe. For now, though, thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. Bye.